Try before we die with a bearded man and a British guy.
You know, Mal, I think you like it when the episode starts and I just turn my chair right to you because I think it puts you a little like on nervous edge, like what's about to happen. Am I right in thinking that?
And it's sort of becoming a bit of a signature for you to stare at me. It's a little bit like the Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, do you think I'm staring at you? I think I'm preparing for my move, right? For what might come out. Let's try before we die, everyone. The whiskey show where we're not prepared. We're genuine, we're sincere, and we're randomly picking a bottle to open and explore with you. Is that a fair way to say it, Mal?
That is a correct way of saying it.
We've said it before, everybody. We really feel like it's that aspect that sets our show aside from a lot of other review shows. And the other review shows are spot on. They really do an excellent job, and we watch a lot of them, and we really appreciate them. And they show what being prepared can really bring to the table. And we hope that we show what being unprepared brings to the table, right? And but there is something nice about not knowing what you're going to drink.
Organic,
right?
I think is the word you're looking for.
No, I noticed you got a vest on.
I do. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I put one on because you put one on.
Oh, did you?
I heard you were black on black, and I was like, I'm going to go a little black on gray. Yeah, right? Just, why not, right?
Yeah.
Still haven't shaved, I see.
No.
Yeah, figure you get another 5-6 weeks in you?
I said, if you were paying attention to the episodes, I will keep this and have the goatee back for the next round.
The henchman.
The henchman. Yeah. Number 2.
Who was that character? Dastardly Dan or somebody?
Dick Dastardly?
Is that who that was?
With Muttley?
Yes!
So you're calling me Muttley? Is that what you're
I
saying?
was going to go with Dick Dastardly.
Then you'd be Muttley.
I don't want to be Muttley.
You have to laugh like him.
That's awesome. So the idea is we're going to get a bottle going, going to get it opened, we're going to get it breathing and cap it in the glasses, and we'll chat a little bit. We do have a couple guests on set.
We do, again?
Yep. So, but let's get a bottle going, and then we'll chat with our guests.
48.
Our guests. Here 48. We go. 48? You're hoping?
No, I know it's going to be 48. Our technician told us.
I don't trust the technician.
Oh, 77.
All right. It's right here.
It is right here.
Yeah. So it's an Aberlour.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
It's not the freaking first one, is it?
No, it's not.
It's the 18, isn't it?
No, it's the 15. This is 75.
Oh, I know.
76, 77.
If you listen to Flash, you put numbers up, I would know.
Yeah. So this is a retail. This is a travel exclusive, only available in duty-free shops. This is the Aberlour 15. This is a full liter. What we know about Aberlour is, of course, that almost always sherry finished.
Yes.
So we see here double cask matured, which will mean that that American oak and that Oloroso sherry. This 15-year-old Aberlour has been matured in 2 cask types, traditional oak and sherry oak. And I'm going to get a little bit more into that first. But the tricky thing about Aberlour, though this is a unique one because it does have a pull strip. Oftentimes it's sort of like the maker's mark and has that wax dip. We actually have the ability to just open it. And I think this must be connected because it's the aTravel exclusive. These other Aberlours here are the wax dips.
So make it easy to open because you're going to be traveling and you may not have a knife with you.
There's some rules, aren't there?
Yes.
All right. All right, so the Aberlour 15. I've had this for a few years. Part of me wonders if I bought this on the way back from Japan. Oh. Okay, we got it. Nice.
Lively.
Yeah. I'll give you the lively that time. I won't contradict you.
Thank you.
Okay. Got this nice fill over the shoulder. We might get a nice gulp. It was, I think, because it was so full, we only got a couple of gurgles and then a pour.
And actually, out of the bottle, it looks lighter. I see our esteemed guest over there is agreeing with me.
So let's get these capped up. Where is that cork?
I don't know. Right in front.
Oh, right in front of you. Here. Let's get these capped up. Okay. So
Nice pour, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah.
You got a good one?
Well, not really, but
Traditional oak sherry.
Kenny can get one.
Especially selected every year, they are filled with whiskey and quietly aged for a minimum of 15 years. Then the casks are married together. So what we have here are a number of Aberlour casks that are just American oak, and a number of Aberlour casks that are in sherry. And then at the end of the time, aging, those are blended together, though this is a single malt, right, not a blend, right, all occurring at the same distillery with just barley. Okay, so while this breathes, and this is how we know, we got room on the cap,
Yep.
but it expands and sort of compacts, we should get a burst, given that it's a sherry finish in Aberlour. We have our friend Kenny.
Hello.
No show, jelly, on set. Kenny, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Now, I recall you've at least been on an episode where we were in the snooker room celebrating Liverpool's win and having a redbreast and a Cardew. Now, do I have it right that Cardew is one of your favorites?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I
So,
do like that.
yeah. So it's good to have you on set again.
It's good to see you, Kenny.
You too, Mel.
Yeah. All right. And we have Aaron joining us again. Welcome back.
Thank you, Colin.
Yep. Now, have you had an Aberlour before?
I have.
Yep. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. Do you happen to know which one you've had?
I want to say it was a 14, but I'm not positive.
Okay, right. Okay. Yep. I'm also going to look up here. We don't have a 14 example. We recently opened the Abunda,
Yes.
batch 54, right? And so Aberlour does do a range of age statements. So excellent. So this is a 15. Kenny, do you recall ever having an Aberlour before?
No.
Okay. So this is potentially going to be fairly robust and maybe a lot of deep sweetness. Would you agree, Malcolm?
Yeah, based on the sherry, yes.
So let's just take a look at the ABV. So this is 40%. Again, not completely surprising me because it was a retail exclusive. Region, Mel?
Highland, right?
Yes. Very good. Very good, Mal. I like to quiz Malcolm sometimes.
I don't like to be quizzed.
Yeah.
Because I never get it right.
Rich flavor. Perfectly balanced. Single malt. With heavier... Oh, gosh. Let's see. Here, we'll try it again. Heavier notes of fruit and spices. Ooh. Interesting. So, they have suggested a color for us to consider. So, let's take a look, gentlemen. You take care of Kenny. Let's take a look at the color in this glass. Keep the lid on. And let's talk a little bit about what color are we seeing here. We're really trying to move away from some of the traditional phrasing for colors. We could talk about the shade of amber. They are suggesting something connected to a Frank Baum movie. There's your hint.
That's not really a hint, Colin. That's me wondering, who is Frank Baum?
I think it's Frank L. Baum, but I may be wrong on the initial.
And that still will go to...
And I
who
think Baum
Frank
is
L.
B-A-U-M.
Baum.
Baum. Shoes or slippers is another hint.
Shoes or slippers?
And you're thinking about the color here.
Like a leather tone?
Okay, so I appreciate that leather, but that's not what we're going for. Mm-hmm. We're thinking of a movie from, I think, the late 30s that has aspects of both black and white and color. I think the crew is picking up on it. What is a lot of people's favorite place to be? Where do most of us like to sleep?
Home.
There's another clue. What would you...
So you're talking about Judy Garland.
Yes. And what is a color that
Ruby.
Ruby. So Aberlour is asking us to consider this as a shade of ruby. So it is not that classic red, but it does have a lot of elements of red in there.
I see it a lot more in the bottle than necessarily.
Yes.
in the
Yes,
cup.
okay,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
so this is a shade of a ruby colored whiskey, right? A dark, deep color. So, anyway, there's your little movie history. I think it's Frank L. Baum. But let's pull these lids and take a deep breath immediately and see what we pick up. Intense.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody, not coughing and
Yeah, that's,
rejecting that experience. That was intense. That sherry really,
Yep.
really pours right out of this
Yeah.
glass. As always, it calms down after that initial explosion. This 50% travel exclusive, 40% travel exclusive, 15-year-old Aberlour Highland Single Malt Scotch Whisky.
So back to the color. So I'm just going to throw this out. So at least when people watch this video, I'm going to say that ruby, right, is a stretch as far as I'm concerned. I really, as I try to look at it and try to freaking like appease the bottle and be like, oh yeah, it really isn't a red. It has tones of red, but to call it a ruby, maybe if you said out the bottle, I would say, yes. But in the glass, I almost would say this is almost like any sort of Scotch color.
So, hints of ruby gold.
Gold, I would
Gold,
give you.
Yeah.
But so I appreciated your leather idea. I really did in terms of a coloration. Well, let's give it a try.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It has got a great smell, though, if you love sherry.
We've just had a nice meal, so this actually is sort of a luck out for
Yep.
us as an after dinner drink, I think.
Very sweet on the front. Almost caramel coming through.
Okay. Aaron
Slightly
is,
bitter at the end.
it's not, there's that bitter.
Takes a sec.
There is that bitter. It's not as complex as some Aberlours can become, and I will attribute that to the 40% ABV that it has been.
Was the Abunda 56?
Yeah, somewhere in that range, 56.2. I feel like it may have been cut down a little more than I would have liked. That being said, I find the front to be much more enjoyable than the back, and I'm not complaining about the back.
No, I don't think that it's complaint would be necessary. What I think is going to your 40%. It's not as robust as you think it might be, based off the initial smell,
Off the nose.
off the nose.
Yeah.
And then once you get beyond that, you get this slight journey of, you get this mellow in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you get this burst of flavor, which is obviously from the sherry, and then you get this slight bitter at the very end.
The bitter is so strange. Kenny, are you picking up any of these flavors that we're talking about? Sort of the sherry front, and then this sweet middle that sort of lapses into a slightly bitter end. Are you picking up some of that?
Just a little bit.
Yep. Do you prefer the front side of this whiskey in your mouth or the back side as it goes down into your belly?
No, I like the front.
Same. Absolutely. Aaron, you're in agreement that the front of this whiskey works much better than the back of this whiskey, and the back of this whiskey is fine.
See, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the backside because
Really?
because I think the front just gets lost a little bit and I'm going to use it in translation. I think that back allows you to say, "Oh yes, I've had a sip of a scotch, and this is what it tastes like." Whereas that front, you saw, if you allow it to stay on your top of your tongue, you may get more out of it. But I feel that that beginning is so fast that you're into that back, and I appreciate that back.
And I agree with you, but I was letting it rest on my tongue
Right.
for a minute.
I hear you, but as that bitterness creeps in the end, I'm still enjoying what's left on the
Right.
front.
No, that's I
Right.
mean that's what makes the show what it is.
Right.
It's not supposed to be I agree or
Right.
with him or with Kenny. It's about what we experience and it's what we're enjoying out of it.
Absolutely. Aaron, any other things you'd want to say about this?
Not off the top of my head.
Yep. Kenny, anything else jumping out about this whiskey that you feel like we should say?
No, not really. I like the coloring, and from a distance, I can see the red, but in the front, really close to me, it looks like an amber color. But I can see the red at a distance when I look at your bottles,
Right.
your glass, and I see the bottle and I can see the red.
It's a
But-
deeper color.
I think the
Yeah.
background has a lot to do with it. I mean, when it's behind your back, black shirt, it looks red to me.
I'll agree that I think it has nice color. I feel the nose was impressive, or certainly solid. For me, it was the front that mattered more than the back. And you're feeling like color, nose, back mattered more than front.
If I was to say that, that's what I would be chasing off this if I was going to go back into this bottle.
Yeah.
To bring in the percentage of alcohol, it's almost like this acts like a young Scotch. If you look at the age, you're like, oh no, it's been there around there for 16. Should have a little bit more to it, but it really doesn't. And I think it's just more down to the design and how they put it together. And this is me just speaking of my opinion. But I think the way they built this allows you to enjoy both sides of this drink. If you are into that front side with that mellow, and I don't really pick anything more than maybe some caramel, maybe, or maybe something along the lines of not chocolate, but like a toffee. Mm-hmm. But then that backside, you get that sherry push through, and it's all about the sherry.
I might want to try it with some water and see if it changes it, because from what you're describing, it seems like it's already been mellowed out a little.
It feels mellow. For me, and again, not to hear it as a critique, but I guess that's the nature of a review. It feels a little thin from the middle on back.
Come on.
Would you like a pipette?
And that's actually interesting, the way you put that thin. That's interesting that you say it, because that I'd agree with you.
It's not coating.
No, it's not got that. It's more viscous than with other scotches that we try with, like had that oily coat
Right.
your mouth.
Right. Less viscous.
Less viscous.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So with water,
I'm not going to do the water.
I think it brings the bitterness further forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it brings it on earlier.
It almost, not that it has, but it almost ups the alcohol content, because now you get that bitterness literally right in the front of your mouth as it goes back down, and there's no hiding it now. The sherry is almost like pushed a little bit back.
Right. See, I don't think I would be looking for that.
No,
So I'm going to stand firm on neat.
That's
Yep. So if we were going to do with a 2-year cheddar, orange almond, or a 70% sort of unsweetened or, a bittersweet chocolate, where would you go with this? I feel like I want to go with the orange.
yeah,
Just, I'm hoping that orange flavor will sort of,
unlock.
well, I'm thinking about a way that it might smooth out the bitterness for me. Again, that's the part of this drink that I'm enjoying the least, though the whole drink itself is still enjoyable. Kenny, 2-year cheddar, orange infused with almonds, or a 70% dark chocolate?
I'll try the dark chocolate.
Okay. Aaron?
I'm gonna try the 2-year cheddar.
All right. If you're into the chocolate, keep it into your mouth, chew it up, let it melt a little, and add some whiskey. That orange chocolate is good.
Depending on what you're looking for, you're either going to say that's a good choice or a bad choice. I'm going to tell you, I think that enhanced the bitterness of this drink.
I feel like the bitterness is
Really?
gone. I didn't pick up on any more bitterness. Kenny, you're sort of feels like you're agreeing me with the chocolate and the bitterness disappearing.
Oh yes, it's very different.
Yeah.
See, I think it sort of made it like into a nice bubble, in a good way. Not that it was not a good taste, but it sort of made a bubble out of that, and it kept it there and lingered a little bit longer before it disappeared.
And again, folks, that's the uniqueness of all of our own individual taste buds, right? Some will be have more strength in the front of the tongue, the back of the tongue, the nose. All these places will. So I'm not picking up what Mal's picking up, which is not to say I'm wrong and he's right, or vice versa. It's what we're experiencing, and that's what we're encouraging for everybody, to have these experiences yourself.
So the odd man out.
I was going to say, so you pulled some cheese, Aaron.
Yeah, and I felt when I added the water, it made the bitter come front. When I added the cheese, it made the sweet come back for a lot longer. But then at the very end, the bitter was almost harsher.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
So what I'm hearing is neat with orange chocolate. But that's my call based upon the other voices at the table.
I agree.
I feel very confident and comfortable with my pairing.
And then go back to the accoutrements that we're doing. That's what makes this even more interesting now.
Yep.
And I'm glad that we've gone back into this sort of bring this to the fore again and make it about the whiskey because it is all about the way you personally deal with what's in your mouth. So if you do deal with the chocolate, you don't know what's going to happen based on how you taste things to begin with.
Right.
And it's interesting to go through these different stages of people doing different things, and then they bring their own opinions to the conversation, and no one's right or wrong. It's what you thought. And you may think completely different from what I think, and you're doing the exact same products.
And we see that a lot in terms of fantastic, terrible, right? If you watch these other review shows, you see that, or you see these comments, these threads online where people are like, love it, hate it. Love it, hate it. It was okay. Would buy it again, would not buy it again. Would drink it if somebody else was buying. All these different features. Whiskey is worth trying. We're trying to share with you our trying of whiskey.
Yeah, no,
All
very
right.
good.
Well, let's wrap up. I think we talked a little bit about your heritage, and you mentioned that you have some Irish in you.
That's right.
Yeah. And so the Irish have a saying, which is essentially, and I'll just say it, and then we can just raise our glass with a cheers, okay? Right, but the Irish have a saying, which is, two people shorten the road, which essentially sort of means that when you're with friends, hardship, hard travel, long travel, any circumstance goes by quicker, right? So, gentlemen, two people shorten the road. Cheers.
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 The Aberlour, 15-year-old, travel exclusive, 40% ABV. For me, very sherry on the front, smooth, transitioning into this bitter back, really worked well with this orange-infused chocolate.
Yeah, like I said, a little bit different take. I definitely get the sherry out of this. I definitely get like the bitterness, but I think it's a little bit switched around for me. And I think the orange actually brought it up to a level that was higher than I was expecting. It would have been interesting to do that neat with the orange. I'd like to have tried it that way.
That's interesting you bring that up, because I forgot that you had water
Correct.
in yours.
agree.
Right,
So
absolutely.
we had already changed the dynamics of what we were drinking. So it was interesting to see you go directly and say, hey, look, this is the way to go. Maybe neat was the best way to go, but after we close these cameras down, I'm going to do a little bit more and try it
You're
straight off
gonna,
the bat.
I might have a
I
little
think
bit
you
more.
I think you're on the right track. That was good.